Hello guys, and welcome back to the course. Now we'll be continuing from where we stopped, which is what control structures. Now when we talk about control structures, we say the first thing we're looking into is what the conditional statements, where we have the if, else if, and what the else statement. So now we said the if statement executes what a block of code if a specified condition is what is true, and if the condition is false, you can use what the else if to test another condition, or else to what execute the code when all previous conditions are what are false. Then let's explain this more practically. So let's practice this guy. Let's make a practical of this guy. Now let's create a new file. Let's say condition dot html. Abi? Now let's have this guy here. So I could say script. Now in this place now I could say if let's start with this. Let a equal to, let's say, 10. Abi? Now once you run a condition, right? I will say if. Now when you say if, now you have what the condition that needs to be what executed inside. The your condition that needs to be run needs to be inside this place. Now the code that needs to be executed will be inside your code brace. And the first thing is your condition. Now I'm saying this: if a is what less than 10. I'm saying this: console.log false. Right? Now I'm saying else, meaning if a is actually what greater than what 10 or something. Now I'm saying what console.log of true. Now if we run this code now, and let's see the output, to be having it this way. So it's running. So the same way, remember, right click and say what inspect, or you could just say control shift and what I. Automatically now it's showing you the console part. Okay, sorry, let's run this part. We don't need. So we're having this guy this way. Now it's telling me what's true. Why? Because we're having something that is what a is actually what greater than 10. Now I'm saying a less than what than 10, meaning that what is not up to 10 but actually what less than 10. Now if I want to say like a is less than or equal to 10, right? I could say this now. Now it's going to be giving us false. Why? Because a is actually what equal to 10. It's actually equal to 10. It's not less than 10 but actually what equal to 10. Now whereas this guy now won't be having it this way anymore. Now if I refresh now, we're having what false here. You get me? Why? Because this condition has been met. We say what if a is less than or equal to 10, say what console.log of false. But you know, before we're just having a less than 10, meaning a is not what up to 10. We are saying here a equal to 10, right? But when I was saying if a is less than 10, we're not saying a is equal to 10 here. We're just saying if it is less than 10, we say what false. Else you say what true. And this one is was showing true because a is actually what greater than what than 10, meaning greater than 9 actually, not 10, greater than 9. You know the last value here is what 9. So I'm like saying a is less than or equal to 9. That's what I'm trying to say here. So we are saying a less than 10 now. It's actually what true. We are saying a less than or equal to 10 now. So it's actually give you what false. Now let's come back to it now. We could say let's use another way. We could say let's say we're not using a predefined value now. Now you know we're using console.log. Now there's something else you actually use prompt. It's an inbuilt function in JavaScript also. I will say enter your name. Abi? Now let's say this. I'm saying if a is equal to Faisal. I'm saying this. Welcome. Now I can say console.log, meaning the else now. Let's say someone put something else rather than Faisal there. I could just say get away. Abi? Now if we come back here and reload now, as you can see now, this guy will be requesting us to put. Now he's asking us, I'm saying what my name is Faisal here. Automatically I tell him what welcome home. And let's say we're doing something, I was saying let's say John. see it's telling me what get away. So if you use any other name apart from that one that has been what described now, it's not going to what, it's not going to work. Now coming back here now, we said what, let's see another thing I want to do. We say, let's say a voting system now where we could use the else if, or let's say, okay, let's say the voting system now imagine you could just say this, imagine I'm saying enter your age, right? Now since we're dealing with number here, it's better for us to convert this guy to a number, so just say number. Remember, you can use past int or anything you want, so I'm saying number. Now this way, now I'm doing this. If a is actually what, less than or equal to, let's say less than or equal to 17, I'll say this, sir, you can not cast your vote, or we say sorry, you're not allowed. Right, this way. Now I could have another statement here. We say else if. Now let's say, now this else if now also has its own condition, whereas the else now doesn't have a condition that needs to be run. Now I'm saying this, else if a is what, equal to 18. Now I could say this. Now I'm only saying only for someone that is 18, console dot log. Now let's say console dot log, you must register to be able to cast your vote, right? So now let me just say a less than or equal to 19. So we're saying 18 and 19 year old. For 18 and 19 year old person, I'm gonna say this. So you must register to be able to cast your vote. Now any other person, meaning anybody older than 19 and or say get on with your voting experience. Right, now let's run this code to see our output. Now let's refresh. Now the first thing asks what's your age. I say 10. That tells me this, sorry, I'm not allowed to vote. Now let's say 17. Still I'm not allowed to vote. Now let's say I'm saying 18. It tells me this, now I must register before I'm able to cast my vote. Now let's say I'm using something higher, let's say something like 25. Same way, get on with what, your voting experience. So continuously like that, I can use any amount of number upward. Continuously like please don't tell me what gets on with your what, with your voting experience, because that is what the default value. So this is how the if and else works, and this is how you add the else if, when you have like multiple other conditions you need to like be met once this if statement is not being met. Okay, so let's move to the next part, which is what, the switch case. Now I've said the switch statement now is used to perform what, different action based on different condition. It's often preferable to use a switch when you have what, many conditions based on what, the same variable what, or expression. Now let's get on with it. Now let's say I'm creating a file called switch.html. And I could have this. Now let's say scripts. Then inside this, now I'm saying this, I could say let a equal to, I would say prompt. Remember this is an inbuilt function. What is the weather like? Right. So now I could just come down here and I'll say this switch. Now when you say your switch, now you actually have what, a key, meaning what you're trying to run your conditions against. Now I'm saying this, my key now becomes what, my variable of what, of a. So I'm running against what, this, anything my user puts into what, a. And I could say this case value now Now since I'm expecting string, so I'm saying in case somebody puts something like this, what's with that, like let's say rainy, that's what the person puts. So now I could have this, sorry, so I could be having this. Now I'll say console dot log of this. I would say go out with an umbrella, right? So this way I could tell the person what to do once the weather is so. Now I could also have another case. Now let's say case, now you remember you have what the name of that case. So I will say, let's say the person is saying what can we use? Let's say cloudy. It's cloudy. Let's say rainy is sunny. So I could say this column. I could say break. This break is like terminating the code. I could say this console dot log. Get me? I say now go out with sunglasses. Now continuously the same way. If you have other type of weather, let's say like is it's winter or something, now we'll say go out with like puffy jacket or something. Now there's always like a default value you want to give, just like the else statement. Say default. Rather than saying going out, I will say sorry, weather not recognized, right? So now if we do this now and let's try running this code, we'll be having this guy this way. So let's run. So remember, so let's say this, what's weather like? I'm saying it's raining. Maybe I'm saying it's raining. I say okay. Now it's telling me this. I should go out with an umbrella. And let's say it is sunny. I tell him what, go out with sunglasses. Now let's say I was using something that we don't have there. I would just say, let's say windy. I tell him sorry, weather is not what recognized because we didn't give a value for that. Now let's actually build something big with this switch. Now we all know about console applications, like let's say you have a mobile phone. Sometimes I want to use like USSD code for banks. Now let's see how we can use switch to actually like run something like that. Now I could say let a equal to prompt. Abi? Now or okay, now let me put inside a number function. So I'm saying this, let a equal to what, prompt. Now inside this prompt, now I'm saying this welcome to bank. Abi? Now I could say this, now this slash with n, now it means break in JavaScript. So I'm having one dot this. I could say to proceed, then I could say to let's say the two is to like cancel. Let me see before that I could have this way, two is to like to cancel the cancel. Now to now make this guy work, now go out what our switch here, right? So we're saying switch, then we have what our key. Our key is what, a, right? So we have our curly brace. Now means we're having what case. So you can say case 1 as this. And so dot log. Okay, let's just say rather than console dot log, I might want to have like another one here. Let's say let b equal to let's say number, then I'm having prompts. So let's cover all this before making a mistake. So let's add our break first, then also defaults. So we'll say defaults, then we're having what, our break. So our default now, we just say console. Okay, let's use something else. Let's use alert. You know, the prompt now is just a box that asks you to input something, whereas alert is just a message box. I will say alert. Let's say sorry, not recognized. Say sorry, inputs not recognized. So now we say I have another one, case 2. So go out this way, case 2. Now, so here now I could say this. The moment you say case 1 now, something should appear for the user, like a prompt. Now I'm saying 1 dot this. I could be like, the very first thing that should happen is let's say 1 dot. I could say p NEPA view, right? So I could have like break 2 dots this now. I'll say pay water view. I could say 3 transfer money, and continuously that the more things I want to add. Now for this one I will just say alert. For here I will just say alert transaction. So yeah, now we're having this way. So let's try this guy out first. So welcome to eBank. Okay, let's refresh. That's true. So welcome to eBank. I'm saying 2. Now it's telling me this transaction has been closed. Now let's say I'm putting something else. I'm saying let's say 4 or something. Sorry, not recognized. Now I'm saying sorry, refresh. Now I'm saying this 1. It's telling me what to proceed, and if I say 1 now, nothing is being said because I didn't actually give what I want. So coming back here now, I can now say this: if b is equal to what? Let's say 1. And I could say this. I could say let's see equal to what? Number. Enter amount to be paid for NEPA bill. I'm going to say also let d equal to what? Number also. So we could always say this way. Number, then I could say enter the bill number. Right? Now after this is done now, I can now say alert. Alert what? Say alert you have successfully paid for successfully paid. Now I can now put the amount at the front, say plus, right? So plus this, plus let's say C, that's the amount. So we also have this guy now, say alert. Let's say we're using that back tips here, and just to freehand. So we just say you have paid the bill for number 4 bill number. Now we could have this guy now, the $sign, then plus this. We'll say what? D. Does it make sense? Now let's try running this guy to see what we have. So let's refresh. Now 1 to what? Proceed. Now I'm having what? 1 to pay what? My NEPA bill. And asking me how much I want to pay. I'm saying like, let's say 2,000. Now enter my bill number. Let's say I'm entering like some random text and numbers. Now it's telling me now successfully what paid 2,000 naira. Then what you have paid the bill for what bill number, not a number. Why? Because I was actually what mixing text with what with numbers there, and whereas I'm asking for what here strictly what numbers. Now let's go back to like run this guy. So I can say 1 to proceed, then 2 to bill. Sorry, 1 to proceed, then 1 to pay NEPA bill, say 2,000, and let's say 0, 1, 2, and just ordinary numbers. Now your sale pay was 2,000 to the bill number of what 192. So this is how this guy works. Now I want you guys to actually take a look at this, and I feel you should be able to complete it with what we have continued to here. So the same way we just have an else statement, else if statement. So you could just say b equal to 2, then you have the condition also. So continuously like that. That's how we can keep on having this guy. So the next part we're looking into now is loops. And how is a loop? A loop is just a way of like making something happen like multiple times, like continuously. Now for the loops, now we have the for loop, we have the do loop. Sorry, we have the for loop, we have the while loop, and we have the what? The do while loop. And the first one we're looking into now, the for loop. The for loop is used when you know how many times you want to what? Iterate through what? A block of code. It's ideal for situations where you have what? A clear starting point and what? An ending point. Now, to use it, I say what? The for statement. Now, inside this bracket now, you have what? Your initialization, your condition, then the what? Increment or what? Decrement. Then inside this curly brace now, you have what? The code that needs to be executed. So let's go back to our VS Code to see what we can do. So let's start by creating a new file for that. So let's say loop.html. Now, so we could have this. So let's say script. Now in the script now, I'm having this. So I'll say let I. Right, this is a variable without initialization, and I will say this for. Now inside it, now remember the first one what is the initialization of our variable. So I will say I is what equal to 0 here. And let's say I was trying to like list out every numbers from 0 to like 10. And I will say this. Then I will say I is less than what? Less than or equal to what? 10. Then I put what? My semicolon also. Now the last thing is what? To increment. So I will say what? I plus plus. This is what? Increment. And if I want to decrement, say what? I minus minus. Now we're having this guy this way. So I'm saying console dot log of what? I. Now if we run this code now, we'll be having this guy this way. Let's see. So we'll be having it this way. So let's say Control Shift and I also, or if you remember, inspect. So let's just cancel some tabs. So Control Shift and I. Okay, you have it already. As you can see now, we're having what? 0, 1, 2 towards we get to 10. And the same way, let's say I'm going to go somewhere higher. Let's say up to like 100 or something. You just come here and what? Increase this guy. So I'm saying 0 to what? We get to 100. So we have this now. So continuously it loads till we get to what? 100. And does it make sense? Now imagine this also. Imagine I wanted to show like the even number from like 0 to 100. I do the same thing. I just say, rather than saying I plus plus, I just say I plus equal to what? 2. Meaning what? Should remember what? By 2. Now if I come back here now and say this, as you can see now I'm saying 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 till you get to what? You get to 100. Now the same way now, let's say I wanted to show the odd number. I'll just turn this my 0 to what? 1. So meaning from like 1 till we get what? Till 99. That way. So having 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 continuously till you get to what? Till 99. This is how the for loop works. Now the next part we're looking into now is the while loop. Now the while loop is used when you want to what? Repeat a block of code as long as a specified condition is what? Is true. It's particularly used from when the number of iteration is what? Is not known before what? Beforehand. Now see the way we're running this one, I will say what? While then we run the condition we want here. Then inside the space where we what? Inside the curly braces where we have the code that needs to be what? Executed. Let's try this guy out. So if we were to say the while statement now, let's comment this guy out. Okay. So we say while what? Say while I is less than or equal to what? Let's say 10. Now I could say this console dot log of what? I. Then after this I'll just say what? I plus plus, meaning I want what? The I to increment. Now if we reload this place now, as you can see, we're having what? Let it load. So we're actually having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and what? And 10. Now the reason why that thing was hanging before is because we just said what? We just declared a variable that was initialization, and we're saying I is less than or equal to what? 10. We don't even know what I is, so now we're giving I what? We're assigning a value to I as what? 0. So that's why we're having this guy this way now. So the same way you want to increment by 2 or something, exactly the same thing is what you just do here. So we're having 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is how everything works for the while. Now the last one now, the do while loop. Now the do while works in this format. Now the first thing that you have is this, the do. Now I will say this, do this console dot log I. Now I'll say what? I plus plus. While what? While I is what? Less than or equal to what? Let's say 20. Now if we were to run this guy and see, now we'll be having this guy this way. Let's see. So I'm having what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get what? 20. Now imagine the same way I could just say I plus equal to what? 2. Now we'll be skipping. So by 2 we're saying 0, 2, 4, 6. You get what? 20. The same way, exactly the same thing. So guys, let's take this as our problem here, like a task for us to fix. So let's say this. Let's read and understand what this thing is talking about. So we're saying this. We have a problem. We're saying write a code that prints out what? Prints the number from 1 to what? To 100, right? Now for multiples of 3, print fees instead of what? Of the number. And for multiples of 5, print boss instead of what? Of the number. And for numbers that are multiple of both 3 and 5, you print what? Fees boss. Now let's see how we approach this problem. Now since we're running a loop, the very first thing we need to say is what? For, right? Alright, I will say let I will say, sorry, we already have I here already. Let's say let n. Then I'm saying this for n is equal to 1, right? Since we're starting writing a program that prints the number from what? 1 to what? 100, not 0 this time around. So I could say this. Then I could say I is what? Less than or equal to what? Less than or equal to 100. Or to 100, right? So now automatically, now this guy automatically prints out every number from 1 to what? 100 for us. So if I say n plus plus, automatically now this guy what? Increments for us, true of us. Now let's say this. We're saying this. If n, now what's n? What? 1, right? Now I'm saying if n, when n increments now, is n modulus 3 is giving what? 0, and n modulus 5 is also what? Giving 0. That's where we come here. We say this for numbers that are what? Multiples of both 3 and 5. You want to print what? Fees boss. So at this point now we just say, I will say here console dot log as what? Fees boss, right? So I'm saying once the multiples of what? Both for numbers that are multiples of what? Both 3 and what? And 5, you print what? Fees boss. So now when you run the modular of let's say 5 and 5, let's say 5 and something, and it gives you 0, so automatically now you're saying what? Fees. But let's say but at that point it must be like 3 when you run the number modulus 3 and it gives you 0. At the same time it must also run the number modulus 5 and also what? Gives 0 before it can give us a fees boss. Now if I'm saying this, else if, right? Now else if what? I'm gonna say n modulus 3 is equal to what? 0. Only this. And I could say this console dot log of what? Of fees. Now imagine it's more than that. I could just say else if also, else if it is what? Is n modulus 5 only. And I could have this. I could say console dot log, sorry, okay, it's happening there already, console dot log of boss. So we're saying this now, for multiples of 5 only it shows what? Boss. And for multiples of 3 it shows what? Fees. But for multiples of both 3 and 5 now it shows what? Fees, boss. Now let's have an else statement. So let's say else, meaning if it's actually not any of it, I'll say console dot log. Let's say it's neither a multiple of any of it, so I will say console dot log of I. Now let's run this code to see. So let's run the code to see. So we refresh now. Our code is running. Let's see. So we'll be having our output as this. As you can see, we're having 1, 2 fees, 4 fees, sorry, balls. They were having 6 as what? Fees. This is like a multiple of 3. Then 7, not multiple of 3 or 5. 8, not multiple of 3 or 5. Then 9, multiple of 3. 10, multiple of 5. Then 11, 12. Now we're having fees balls here. Why? Because 15 is like a multiple of 3 and also a multiple of what? Of 5. So continuously like that till we get to what? Till we get to 98, 99, then what? 100. 100 as balls, 99 as fees, 98, 97, and the rest. This is how this guy works. So we're just saying what? Let n, right? And say for n is equal to what? 1. Then I'm saying n less than or equal to what? 100. Then n increments. That's what's making the 1 to what? 100, right? And I'm now saying this: if n modulus 3 is equal to what? 0, then, and also at the same time n modulus 5 is equal to what? 0, meaning like multiple of what? 3 and 5 before it can give what? A fees boss. But now if it's just a multiple of 3, it just gives what? Fees. And if it's just a multiple of 5, it gives what? Boss. And if it's a multiple of none, it just what? Gives out the right, the what? The correct number back. So that's all about the while, the do while, and the for loop. So in the next video we'll be looking into array. Thank you.